All right, guys, let's continue to hit it. Last vid of the night. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to Kurt Magoosh and Slaughterhouse Sports. We're still doing Notre Dame, 23. So we've been hitting the 23 class hard on Slaughterhouse and Kurt Magoosh Sports. So we're doing all types of college recruiting videos and, high school tapes and analyzation of that. So you guys can check that out on the channel. We're also going to do all 32 draft grades, and then as we hit the summer, we're going to get more into previews. That's going to be fun. Schedule previews, all of that, and then once we are to fall, we are in our bread and butter where we will be breaking down games each weekend. We'll probably go away from recruiting at that stage. We're always going to keep an eye on it, but this is really a good month to do recruiting. December is when recruiting gets back rolling. And we'll do some NBA playoff talks, a couple of separate one-off podcasts. So you guys who love NBA playoffs, I do really love the NBA playoff season. We can also discuss that. It's been a great playoffs. All right, so we are doing Seattle right now, the Seattle Seahawks. They've had a lot of picks in this draft. I love the way Seattle is building. Drew Lock's been one of my favorite quarterbacks. I watched really him at the Elite 11 from Lee Summit, 6'4". Jim Harbaugh recruited him, and then he got on the field as a freshman to play at Missouri. Gary Pinkel's last season, which, had a lot of turmoil with Gary Pinkel, the team not doing that well, things going on around the school at Missouri, which Drew will allude to. And then Drew Lock at Missouri, he went off the next few years. Heupel then came into the mix, and him and Jamon Moore were just incredible to watch at Missouri. The arm talent is ridiculous. He actually broke or tied Peyton Manning's all-time SEC touchdown record with 53 when he played with Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel runs the run-and-shoot up-tempo offense really fast, and Drew Lock was great at Missouri. So Drew Lock, the questions with Lock are intangibly, can he get the job done? How focused is Lock? Because the coaching staff and him didn't really get along at Denver. It never really clicked, and Drew Lock got hurt his second year, had a really inconsistent and poor season in his second year, and as a second-round pick, you have to take advantage when you have your opportunity. Didn't do that. Shermer lost trust in him, brought in a veteran, and apparently they still didn't really trust him. They went with Bridgewater, and it ended up getting everybody fired. It's not like if they went with Lock, they wouldn't have gotten fired, but that coaching staff, that you can't say that decision was a good one because they're fired now. The coaching staff of Denver, Shermer, Vic Fangio, they're gone. So you could say, Drew Lock would have been even worse. So you can't say Drew Lock's better, but we can also say that their decision just was not good. It's almost like you take a test and you fail it, and then you're like, what about this other method? I would have even done worse. Well, you still failed. So Drew Lock has ability. He could throw it, probably 55, 60 yards, throw back shoulders. He's got small hands, but he can throw it, and he could spin it from multiple angles, and, he's great off of play action. He can read defenses better. He has great patience. He just needs someone to believe in him, and that's what happens with a lot of guys in the NFL is they just need coaches to give them opportunities. That's what I think Pete Carroll's going to do, and that's why I applaud Seattle for not drafting a quarterback, even Malik Willis or even Desmond Ridder or Carson Strong. So I really like how Seattle did in this draft. You get Cross, so you hit the offensive line. You get Cross, so ironically, you get two, kind of from the Mike Leach tree, all right? You got a Washington State offensive lineman, Abraham Lucas, great intangibles, great leader, grew up watching Seattle Seahawks. He can be a right tackle. Okay, I think he can be pretty good. Charles Cross, again, probably going to be good in pass protection. You do worry because Andre Dillard, who played with Mike Leach, wasn't that great. All right, so out of all the tackles, Ickey, Neal, he was my third. He's actually probably my fourth rated tackle because I love Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa anyway. But Cross is, he has a high upside, really athletic, can move well. A consensus pick, but sometimes you worry because like Markelle Fultz, and there's a lot of consensus picks that do not work out, that aren't that great. Solomon Thomas was a consensus pick, okay? So there's busts that don't work out. Leonard Fournette was all right, not even that good. All right, John Ross. So they're consensus picks that don't work. So again, these are kind of like among the riskier picks in the first couple of rounds. Lucas is okay. You worry, how can he slide? Can he really protect Lucas? But that's the range in which he was going in, and the intangibles with Lucas are sensational. And you get a hometown kid, which, I like. They're kind of invested in that process. You address the tackle spot, which I love. You're going offensive line. You're building this thing. So even though the odds of Drew Lock, right? I'm probably Drew Lock's biggest fan, but I can admit Drew Lock, through turnovers, made mistakes. His third down rate was really bad. His statistics throughout his career have been bottom tier. I can admit that, but I believe that there's a lot of talent there. There's been some great fourth quarter comebacks that he's had in Denver. He brings Noah Fant with him. But also Seattle, the Russell Wilson trade's going to get you another first-round pick to play with next year. You do have C.J. Stroud, who's probably the most can't-miss quarterback since an Andrew Luck at 6'5" out of Ohio State that can drop the football into anywhere. You also have Bryce Young, an electric quarterback, even though Bryce Young's only 5'10", arm strength's off the charts, intangibles, so star quarterback value next year in the draft, right? So you don't go up there and reach on that. But you have a young team, and it is rejuvenated Pete Carroll. So then you get Kenneth Walker, who, Michigan State, Deep Water, Mel Tucker. The Deepwater and Mel Tucker and Kenneth Walker, when the game goes longer, that's when you get better. So Michigan State has some of the best strength and conditioning in the league. You get Kenneth Walker there. I like Walker. I even think that Dalvin Cook's brother would have been like my first take at running back. These were decent picks, okay? These are pretty good, B picks. I think that they're solid picks. But in the later rounds, guys, you get Bo Melton out of Rutgers, 6'2", runs real fast. Great pick in the 7th round. Fantastic pick. On defense, you get Boye Mafe, 2nd round. What a pick. So in the 2nd round, you're cleaning house. You get Boye Mafe, okay? You get Boye Mafe, Abraham Lucas, possibly your right tackle of the future. And you get Kenneth Walker, who could star and be a pretty good back. In the 2nd round, that's a damn good 2nd round. Boye Mafe is my favorite pick because, again, he reminds me of Arnold Epikidi. These are guys that, Boye Mafe was a great senior player at Minnesota. Intangibles are fantastic, but also Boye Mafe is a guy that can bend, can really rush the passer, great first step, great edge player. Then you get the consistent Kobe Bryant, the sidekick to Ahmad Sauce Gardner, the leader of that Cincinnati defense. What a great pick. Possibly a starting caliber corner in round 4. He should have went round 3 or round 2. Probably didn't test that well at the combine, but you just turn on the film, the guy can really play. Then you get Tariq Woolen in round 5. This could end up being one of the greatest picks. This could be one of the greatest picks in Seattle history. This guy is 6'4", 6'4" corner, the length. The guy can run. He played wide receiver in high school, but he has a knack for tackling, loves to play the game. From the Woodlands, Texas, San Antonio kid. Getting him in round, just watching his highlights, you're like, oh my God. And he helped. He was a winner too. UTSA and Coach Traylor, Jeff Traylor, who was from Arkansas originally, or coached with Chad Morris. It was a disaster there. Him and Barry Lunney ended up leaving, getting out of that terrible situation. The Roadrunners, who did not have a lot of money there for football, they end up hiring Traylor and Lunney, and it's been paradise. It's been unfreaking believable. They went undefeated in Conference USA, winning the Conference USA championship. And I'll tell you what, this player, Woolen, Tariq Woolen, wow. Wow, what a pick. All right, so we just talked about Bo Melton. We talk about Kenny Walker, Lucas. Charles Cross, Lucas could be offensive lineman. Kenneth Walker could be your running back. Kobe Bryant or Woolen, one of them is going to be stud cornerback. You're getting literally 4 or 5. You're getting, and then Boye Mafe, you're getting like 5 or 6 impact guys here. Really one of the great drafts. And you have so many picks, so of course, you're going to score high, but how do you use them? And wow, the value of getting Woolen, probably my favorite pick, 6'4", can really run, can hit. Project, but perfect pick. Kobe Bryant, to get at that value is ridiculous. So the late round picks, Boye Mafe, probably my top 3. Cross is where he was supposed to be taken. Let's see if he pans out and is really good. Abraham Lucas, too, has something to prove. Let's see if he can be a starter. You get a starting tackle in the second round. It is ridiculously awesome. So I love the way Seattle is building. Okay, it's a rebirth of Carroll. John Schneider from Wisconsin, who has been the GM there, who led the Legion of Boom and all of their success. They've had decent success with Russell, but it was too much of a heliocentric one-man team. Now you are building a team. And I hope that Drew Lock, again, no offense to Geno Smith, but I want Drew Lock to start at quarterback. And I want this team to surprise. I want this team to compete for a wild card, even though the division is tough. San Francisco has some things to iron out, but of course, them and the Rams were in the NFC Championship, so that's who you have to compete with. And Arizona does have talent. They are losing DeAndre Hopkins. They have drama with their quarterback there. So Arizona's beatable for Seattle. And this is going to be a fun, young roster that I believe can surprise. So they show potential. And, of course, with Locke, it is going to be one of the more fun teams to watch in the NFL. I'm giving this draft an A+. I love it. I think you got so many starters. You're setting yourself up for now and the future. Again, I love the draft. I loved all the picks.